All right, so if you saw me this morning, you're seeing me walk around with a limp. All right, so this is so my life, and honestly, and really honestly, I don't like to admit it, but as I'm getting older, I am recognizing the limits as to what I'm able to do. So yesterday morning, I got up. I was up 4:30 because I had a meeting at 6 o'clock, and I had to go into this meeting. But at 4:30, I had to let my dogs out. So, 4:30, it's dark. I got my cup of coffee. I'm walking outside. I'm not really all awake, but the dogs are up, so it's time to go. So I let them out the door, and out of the corner of my eye, all of a sudden, I see this deer shoot across the yard. Well, I got 4 little dogs. Will calls them foo-foo dogs. All right, they're little Shih Tzus. All right, next thing I know, 3 of them are taking off toward the fence. They're going. They're just going as fast. So I drop my coffee down and I start sprinting. Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, that's the. All 3 of them didn't. Yeah, that's the funny part. The funny part is that I sprinted for about 100 yards. Caught up with the dogs. Well, not really. They stopped, so because I never would have caught up with them. And then I start walking back to the house, and it's like, man, I sprained my ankle really bad. And I'm thinking, I'm getting too old for this. I need to put these dogs on a leash. Joe, you just are loving this, I know. And it's not so bad, but I was on a cruise the first year, and they have those wave riders on them, where the water flows underneath. They're all self-contained. In January, well, me being one of these people who never said I can't do something, I got on there, and of course I repeatedly did this because it just didn't matter. I had to prove to myself I could do something. So I got on there, and first couple of times I'd get on that surfboard. And of course, I've never been on a skateboard, never surfed my entire life, not real good with balance apparently, and the water's flowing underneath you at like 120 miles an hour. I mean, because it's going to keep you up. Well, I hit down, that thing picked me up, swung me up over top of the hill, slammed me in face first into the back wall. Yeah, and I hurt my shoulder. Y'all feel sorry for me now? I hurt my shoulder, and to this day, I am still struggling because I refuse to go to the doctor because he's probably going to tell me I've done something in my rotator cuff or I need some type of surgery. And I'm just thinking, it's been 6 months now, and it doesn't hurt as bad, but I have to sleep a certain way, and I can't lift my arm up a certain way. But I'm gonna go rappelling, and it doesn't matter. And I tell you all of that because, honestly, I don't really look at myself as old. I think that's the benefit of being around, well, you guys are really an old group, dude. I like being around young guys. Because when I'm around younger guys, I feel younger. Well, at least in my head, I feel younger. Right? And I get to watching them and seeing them do the things that they're doing, and I started to lie to myself and saying, I'm not that old.
He likes being around this church.
Yeah, I can do this. I can do anything that they do. Because even though I'm 50, I can still do everything. I just move a little slower. But honestly, I don't really want to admit to myself that I'm getting older, that I really can't do all the things that I did at 25 and 30. And it's that realization that I lie to myself so much of the time. Now I want to take you on a journey today. And if you'll embrace this, really, if you really embrace this, this could substantially change your life. Because what I've realized in the past, really in the past week, specifically on Thursday, what I've realized is that I deceive myself on a regular basis. And what happens We'll hear baptism stories tomorrow. Think about it. Think about our past. All right? Think about all the decisions that we made. And you ever gone through those decisions and been on the other side, and then you ask yourself the question, what in the world was I thinking? Yeah, you recognize that. Is there anybody been here that hasn't said that? What was I thinking? What in the world was going on in my mind at that point? And then think for a second. Did you really want to do that? On the other side, on the flip side of it, were you really interested in doing that, or was it something that you really just convinced yourself that you ought to do this? Think about working out. Right? So many of us, I know I did it when I was younger, and I've just come to a place where I just don't care anymore, and that's being honest. We start this process and we say, I need to get in shape, I need to work out. We go get the gym membership, we do all of those things. You have a hard day at work and you come up with the excuse of, I'll go tomorrow. What we won't tell ourselves is, I don't want to go. Well, our mind comes up with an excuse that justifies our action. All right, let's think about it another way. Think about dessert. Because I love food. And I asked Hank to go get me you like that, don't you? I asked Hank to go get, HB, you're just so bad with this dessert stuff. I do this. And I do this on a regular basis. And I go home at night because I'm trying. As I get older, I have to admit to myself, I can't eat anything that I wanted to, like I did in the past, because ultimately it affects me. Ultimately, I'm gaining weight in areas that I really don't want to gain weight in. So Tracy and I, through most of the week, when we get home, we'll eat a lean cuisine. I know. Don't even go there. I know everything I'm saying is playing into yesterday, so that's a private joke. Anyway, you know what I do late at night after she's gone to bed?
To the fridge.
I go to the fridge, and maybe it's chocolate cake, but honestly, I'd rather eat this stuff than eat really good stuff any day. Better than eggs and bacon. Although I do like bacon, don't really care for the eggs. I'd rather. There's just something about dessert that is just so wonderful. I'll get up late after Tracy goes to bed, and I have this ritual where I'll actually get 2 ice cream cones out of the refrigerator, out of the freezer, and I'll sit there at my computer and I'll actually start eating the stuff. Because I've already justified in my mind, I ate a lean cuisine tonight. I only ate 300 calories. I owe myself dessert. I can do that. Or I'll sit down with a bag of cheese, a box of Cheez-Its at the computer, do whatever I'm doing, and the next thing you know, 3/4 of the box is gone. And I'm just sitting there, you're only eating a couple pieces at a time, but I'm telling myself I can do this because I'm lying to myself. So, there's a passage in Jeremiah. Anybody know who Jeremiah is? Prophet.
Bullfrog.
He wasn't the bullfrog. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. Actually, I was kind of hoping somebody would come up with that. Jeremiah was a prophet. Back in the Old Testament, at a time when Israel was being disciplined by God because they were worshiping all these other idols. And Nebuchadnezzar had come in and he had taken over all of Israel, and he had appointed a king, Jehoiakim. He said, I'm going to make you the puppet king. All right? You don't really have any authority. All I want you to